So how do we help the poor? You wrote this other article, Trump using American capitalism to help the poor. You mentioned that he's opening up these zip codes that he's focusing on. What else is he doing?
Well, one thing we do know is that when people have a little bit of money in their pockets and they can breathe, they make better choices over their lives. And this is what we want our low-wage workers and our government dependent to start doing, being able to at least breathe. So they're making significant changes on how we do welfare business. Instead of paying people not to work, not to marry, and not to save any money, we're beginning to see a lot more flexibility for people to be more mobile with their choices. Because once you get that little money and you start making better decisions, you have the opportunity to then think differently about your children and live beyond just today and live for tomorrow. So the list is very, very long about some of the things that are happening. But one that I would like to point out is in this Opportunity Zone initiative that's been getting a lot of bad ink from the mainstream media and the liberals because it is so successful. What they did in the tax bill under the leadership of Senator Tim Scott was made this little provision that if you put capital into some of our more distressed zip codes, you won't have to pay a capital gain tax. And so the investors are starting to look at these zip codes very, very differently. Yes, instead of going abroad, they're looking into these 8,700 zip codes and saying, what kind of opportunities are there for us to start building? When jobs are right outside of your door, I think that we'll start seeing more health in those neighborhoods.
And well-allocated capital produces growth.
Yes, it does.
And economic growth is essential to solving the poverty problem.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Kevin. You know what's unique about what President Trump has done with his Opportunity Zone initiative as opposed to ideas we've heard in the past, like with Jack Kemp, where he wanted the economic empowerment zones, or even Barack Obama had an initiative, is this one has no government strings. This is just you as the investor go do it. And so that means it's organic growth, which is really, really good. This isn't the free market.
Investors look for returns.
That's exactly right.
They want to make money.
And this is a good thing. Money is good. Capitalism is good. Profit is good. It's the engine for tomorrow. And people need to understand that so that they can work. Every time people complain to me about, oh, well, so-and-so's so wealthy and they have a yacht. You know what? Someone's dependent on cleaning that yacht so they can send their kids to school.
Yeah, and economic growth, you've got a quote here. Hoover Institution points out that the U.S. economy grew 3.5% annually from 1950 to the year 2000. Since 2000, it's barely choked out 2% per year on average. And the net result of it is the average income in America would have been only $23,000 today if we had grown at 2% during that period. But instead it grew 3.5%, and the average income is $50,000. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because of not just the money in your pocket to spend to keep the economic engine going, but what gets less attention, but is vitally important, is the morale of your people. You know, I travel the world, and one thing that we have, and is exceptional to our country because of the way that it's been designed, is we are a happy and joyful people. It shows up. Now, are there depressed times? Yes, when you have no money. But when there's growth, people are happy. So therefore, they treat their neighbors well. And this is something you want. It's a good thing for people to have economic stability. And even if it's not equal, if we all are exactly the same, making exactly the same thing like they want in socialism and or what some of these contenders for president want, then no one's happy.